Alright guys, today we're going to do one of my least favorite things, which is compressed coil springs. It always freaks me out because I had a cheap set back in the day with the hook style. Never buy that style, get the solid metal style that sits in. I had one break on me and the coil spring flew up in the air like this high in front of my face, but the other one held so it didn't completely go crazy. This is the kit we got. I'll try to put a link in the comments or something. Try to dig it out of where I got it on Amazon. Been using this for years. It's got this style. We can go inside the coils, flip them around. It's got this gauge where it says do not use on coils larger than this, which is pretty cool. Couple washers. I cut this one down because I needed, they were too long. They were too long for an application. Let's go ahead and show you how I hooked it up. I already got this side hooked up. We're gonna take a washer from the kit, slide it on there, non-threaded side, slide it on there. And then we got our threaded side, so we thread that on. And we're gonna go from, you can see I took it from the furthest point that I could from the top. Now I'm gonna do the same thing, but on the bottom. I'm gonna get it at the lowest point that I can and try to go 180 degrees from where that one's set to even out the pressure. Hammer our safety locks in. And it says do not use power tools on these. And you're gonna wanna use a little bit of lube. It just really helps with the tension and whatnot. I should have lubed it before I tightened this all the way down. This one's not tightened all the way down, so we'll pre-lube these threads. It says do not use power tools, but safety third here at Carl's Garage. That's not gonna work for us because this lip is hitting the tool right here. See that? So we gotta flip this one upside down. Reverse of this one. All right, so I had to flip so the bolt was up on this side because it was hitting right there. This one has a huge lip. These struts, you usually won't run into this problem. Let's try to get 180 as possible on this one. We're gonna have to take our 24 wrench to get past this area because the socket won't fit on it unless we use a thin well socket. Well, oh, it's really easy to spin now that I compress this side a little bit. I can almost turn that by hand. You want to tighten them kind of evenly. And we're going to go until the pressure is off the spring. We can move it around. I can see the bottom, the tail of that spring moving. Right there should be loose enough. Should be, but I'm gonna go a little bit further. I'm not too worried about these springs because they don't have a whole lot of tension on these vehicles. But I can spin. See, this is spinning. So that means our tension is off the strut. A little wiggle jiggle, make sure she's in a good spot. Those are not coming off. Our lockers are locked in. Now we can safely remove the center nut. Going the wrong way. There's our strut mate bearing. They're built into the caps of these. We have new ones. These bearings are bad. See that? Now we transfer over everything. So we have little pieces to look out for, like this washer. These came straight from genuine GM parts, and they didn't come with any hardware or anything, which is pretty lame for GM to do. So we grab our grenade.
Set it down gently.
See, we're facing the same way with our struts, so we can't get discombobulated. Now we take off our boot. Keeps the dust and dirt out. Right there. Now we take off our insulator. You can see how it hooks in right here. It goes over the circles, so we're gonna put it on the new one. It's got a little stopper tab right there that hooks into it, so you can't really mess it up on this style. That was a nice touch.
So you get that little nipple out of there.
Get the little guys in their spots. Now our spring was sitting like this. And we get the pigtail all the way to the end of the insulator. That's where it was sitting. Next thing is this guy. And our spring's gonna stop right there on the end. Oh, we can't forget to put a boot neck on.
Yep, gotta have boot neck.
It kind of pulls down and locks in right there. We line up this guy with where it's supposed to sit, the insulator. Now, which way was this washer? It was like this.
I'm not gonna say it was like that.
It was like that. And then we take our new strut mate bearing. It doesn't matter which way this goes on. Put a little lube in there just because it kind of press fits. So you can put a little lube there if you want. We'll take our nut. Even though this is not a high tension spring and I shouldn't be worried, I always am because of that one bad experience. And there should be, for whatever style or whatever vehicle it's going on, there should be a torque spec for this. And now we are not on our spot, so we just got the nuts started. I gotta make sure that this coil spring goes where it's supposed to go as we slowly release the tension. Not quite lined up here. That looks a lot better, like it's gonna actually do what it's supposed to do. We're not worried about that until we get our
How's the bottom of the
loosening.
spring look there, boss man?
Yeah, she moved on us, eh? Yeah, it was twisting and turning. See if I do that.
Looks like the top moved with it. It didn't that time.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Oh, what's your bottom there?
She is right there where it needs to be on the stopper. So as we loosen pressure slowly, hopefully it sits into place. If it doesn't, we'll persuade it. First, we got to get this on there tight. There we go. We need it to sit in her grooves. Bang. Moving her into the insulator. Now that it's semi-tight on the top, now you won't have this problem on most struts. These are just kind of some funky struts. There we go. That's lined up. It's smushing a little bit right there. Gotta make sure we're in our tab, and boom. We tighten this the rest of the way. All right, now you just give it a little bit back and forth. And actually, I should be using the universal socket swiveler from Also tools, great product. We've been using the crap out of it, you can see. Woo. You just want to make sure that spring is sitting right where it should be sitting as you decompress the spring, and it is. Come back to this side. For this, I almost wanted you to weld up the strut spring compressor like we were talking about. That'd been, if we got some thick stock steel in here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You can turn a lift into a spring compressor by welding some metal on it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, if you ever want me to do that, let me know.
It's just, we only buy assembled struts around here. It's like, instead of just changing struts, this strut is unavailable as an assembled strut. There is no aftermarket for this. They only used it on 1 year Cadillac. Had to be in the premium edition with electronic suspension, with all-wheel drive, a couple other options. It's the only, so other aftermarket companies are not making these because there's just not a demand, because it's a rare part. No point in developing a product if you can't sell very many. This is the one I had to kind of hammer on a little bit. But what we can do is spin this off. There we go. She can come around here where we have this notch cut out.
ERCV.
Gotta get our locks out, spin it back this way, get that out, get this lock out. This is the lock that must be bent a little bit. Bent downwards a little or something. All right, and there we go. That is a strut mate bearing replacement with throwing in the struts as well, because you got it apart, you might as well change it. You might even want to go with new insulators or springs. This spring might be a little worn. It looks good. The insulators look great. There's no cracking in the rubber. They're not tearing up. So you do you, however much you want to spend on your project. That's how you swap coil springs over, change strut mate bearings and struts when the full assembly is not available anywhere.